1. We're checking out this absolute gem, a 1970 Ford F-250 Ranger XLT Camper Special that's popped up on Craigslist in Seattle for $15,000. Let me tell you, this is one of those classics that just makes you smile. This beauty is rocking that original yellow paint and comes with the highly sought-after built-in toolbox, something that truck collectors go crazy for. Under the hood, you're getting that beefy 390 V8 paired with an automatic transmission, and the seller says it's running like a dream. With just 58,594 miles on the clock, this truck has clearly been taken care of. What really catches my attention is all the recent maintenance work. We're talking new fuel lines, fuel filter, fuel pump, alternator, voltage regulator, starter solenoid, radiator, and a complete brake overhaul with new pads, rotors, and drums. That's some serious investment in keeping this classic running right. The clean title and good condition report are definitely promising, and the seller mentions there are no dents, which is pretty remarkable for a 53-year-old work truck. Being a camper special model makes this even more interesting. These were built tougher than standard F-250S to handle camper duties. At $15,000, considering the current classic truck market and all the recent mechanical work, plus its desirable Ranger XLT Camper Special trim, this could be a solid buy for someone looking for a classic Ford truck that's both collectible and usable. Just remember, folks, this is still a 1970s vehicle, so expect some quirks that come with classic truck ownership. 2. We're looking at a pretty special piece of American automotive history, a 1965 Chevy C10 that's up for grabs at $20,000 on Craigslist. Let me tell you what makes this one interesting. This C10 is keeping it old school with its original 283 V8 engine and that classic 3-on-the-tree manual transmission, something that's getting harder to find these days. The seller mentions it's mostly original, which is a huge plus for collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate authenticity. That natural patina gives it that perfect vintage character that money just can't buy. Now, let's talk upgrades. They've added some nice modern touches where it counts: power steering, tubular front control arms, and power front disc brakes. These are smart improvements that make the truck more drivable without killing its classic vibe. The fact that both the heater and gauges are working properly is actually pretty impressive for a truck of this age. One thing to note honestly, the odometer has rolled over, so we don't know the true mileage. That's pretty common for these old trucks, but it's something you should keep in mind. The orange paint with patina tells a story, and with that clean title, you're looking at a solid piece of Americana. At $20,000, you're getting a classic C10 that's maintained its originality while having just enough updates to make it a practical driver. These trucks have been climbing in value, and finding one that's both original and mechanically sound isn't easy anymore. 3. We're checking out a seriously impressive 1970 Chevy C20 that's listed for $17,900. Let me tell you, this isn't your average old work truck. This is something special. First off, let's talk about that power plant. We're looking at a 402 big block V8, which is a monster of an engine that Chevy enthusiasts absolutely love. The seller's been really thorough with this truck, investing over $25,000 in the last 6 years, and it shows in all the right places. What really catches my attention is how comprehensive the restoration has been. They've basically touched everything: the engine, transmission, brakes, suspension, full exhaust, cooling system, and all the electrical work has been professionally rebuilt or replaced. Even the interior hasn't been overlooked, with new seat, carpet, and they've added modern touches like a bed liner, wrap, and tint. The odometer shows 77,000 miles, but has rolled over. That's pretty normal for these old trucks. However, with all the mechanical rebuilding that's been done, the mileage is less of a concern here. The gray paint looks clean, and it's sitting on fresh wheels and tires. At $17,900, considering all the professional work that's gone into it and the current market for classic trucks, this seems like a fair deal for someone who wants a turnkey classic C20 that's ready to roll. Just remember, even with all the new parts, you're still buying a 53-year-old truck. But this one appears to have been set up right. 4. We're checking out something pretty special, a 1970 Chevy C10 that's listed for $20,000 from Dennis Buy's Classic Cars in Los Angeles. And let me tell you, this one's worth paying attention to. This C10 is rocking a 350 V8 with some nice performance upgrades, an Edelbrock high-rise manifold, and 4-barrel carburetor, which should give this classic pickup some serious punch. They've modernized it in all the right places with power steering and front power disc brakes, making it much more comfortable and safer to drive in today's traffic. What really stands out is the condition. The seller claims the body is super straight, and the paint, in yellow, is nearly flawless, which is pretty rare for a truck of this age. With 91,344 miles on the clock and excellent chrome and glass, this appears to be a well-preserved or properly restored example. Coming from a professional classic car dealer in LA, this C10 has been detailed and comes with a clean title. The fact that they're willing to take trades and handle all the DMV work is a nice bonus. Being a dealer-offered vehicle, you can expect it to be properly vetted, though as always I'd recommend a personal inspection. At $20,000, you're in the ballpark for a well-maintained C10 from this era, especially considering the mechanical upgrades and apparently excellent condition. These trucks have been steadily appreciating, and finding one that's both show-worthy and actually drivable isn't easy. 5. We're looking at something really special. A 1974 Chevy C20 Cheyenne Camper Special that's up for $20,000. And folks, this one's got a story that'll make any classic truck lover smile. Let's start with what makes this truck extraordinary. It's a one-owner California truck with its original 454 big block V8. For those who might not know, that's the coveted 7.4-liter powerhouse that Chevy put in these trucks, rated at 220 horsepower. The fact that it's the original engine with just 85,503 miles is pretty remarkable. What really sets this apart is its preservation story. Having had a camper shell on it its entire life means the bed is practically pristine, something you almost never see on these work trucks. The green paint and body are described as being in superb condition, and it still wears its original California blue plates, which is a big deal for authenticity enthusiasts. The feature list is impressive. Power steering, power front disc brakes, and, get this, working cold AC. That's like finding a unicorn in a classic truck. Being a Cheyenne Camper Special, it came with heavy-duty everything from the factory, making it a more robust package than standard C20S. At $20,000, considering it's a documented one-owner California truck with a big block 454 original miles and in excellent condition, this actually seems like a fair deal in today's market. These camper specials are becoming increasingly sought after, and finding one this well preserved is getting harder every year. 6. We're looking at something really special, a 1965 Chevy El Camino that's listed for $25,000 at Dennis Buy's Classic Cars in LA. And this one's got some features that'll make any Chevy fan smile. What makes this El Camino particularly interesting is that it's got its numbers, matching 283 V8 engine, putting out 195 horsepower. Even better, it's just been freshly rebuilt, and they've got all the receipts to prove it. That's huge for authenticity and value. The seller has done some serious work on this beauty. We're talking a complete fuel system overhaul. New gas tank, fuel lines, sending unit, fuel pump, and a rebuilt carb. They've also done a thorough brake job with a new booster, shoes, drums, and wheel cylinders. That's the kind of comprehensive work you want to see on a classic. The black paint and body are described as excellent, and for California buyers, it comes with those desirable original black plates. The odometer shows 50,246 miles, but it has rolled over. Pretty common for these classics, but with the fresh rebuild, that's less of a concern. Coming from a professional classic car dealer in LA, you're getting a detailed vehicle with a clean title and current California registration. The fact that they handle all the DMV work is a nice bonus. At $25,000, considering it's a 65 El Camino with its original engine, fresh rebuild, and excellent condition, you're in the right ballpark for today's market. These unique car-truck hybrids have been steadily appreciating, especially clean California examples. 7. We're checking out a seriously well-sorted 1984 Chevy K20 Camper Special that's up for grabs at $13,000. And let me tell you, this isn't your average square-body Chevy. First off, being a camper special means this truck came from the factory beefed up with a thicker frame, 8-leaf rear springs, and 13-inch brakes, basically built to handle the heavy stuff. Under the hood, you've got the reliable 350 V8 paired with the bulletproof TH400 automatic transmission, which is pretty much the dream team for these trucks. What really catches my attention is the extensive list of new parts. The current owner has basically rebuilt this truck from the ground up. We're talking a complete fuel system overhaul with a new tank, an Edelbrock 1406 carb fresh AC system, which is huge for an 84, and a totally redone suspension with new 4-inch springs, shocks, and steering components. The interior hasn't been ignored either. New dash, carpet, sound deadening, and a modern touchscreen setup with a full audio system. They've modernized it with LED lighting, and it's sitting on new 17-inch wheels wrapped in beefy 285/70/17 Load E tires. With 69,000 miles showing, this K20 has plenty of life left, especially with all these fresh components. At $13,000, considering all the work that's been done and the current market for square-body Chevys, which has been going crazy lately, this seems like a solid deal. You're getting a heavily upgraded, ready-to-roll classic 4x4 that's been thoughtfully modernized while keeping its original character. 8. We're checking out a really clean 1982 GMC Sierra 3/4 ton that's up for grabs at $9,000. And let me tell you, this one's had some serious attention. Under the hood, you've got the tried-and-true 350 V8 paired with the bulletproof turbo 400 transmission, which has been upgraded with a B&M large pan. That's a solid combo for reliability and performance. What really catches my attention is the long list of new parts and upgrades they've done to this truck. The mechanical work is impressive. New carburetor, plugs, heater core, fuel pump, rebuilt steering box, and an aluminum radiator upgrade. They've even replaced the motor mounts and added power brakes. For hauling, it's got a heavy-duty receiver hitch and an aluminum diamond plate toolbox. The cosmetics haven't been ignored either. We're talking new glass and rubber seals, fresh carpet, reupholstered seats, new tires and wheels, and a custom grille with upgraded headlamps. The seller emphasizes there's no rust, which is huge for these square bodies, as they're notorious for rust issues. At 100,000 miles, this truck has plenty of life left, especially with all these fresh components. The red paint looks sharp on these classic GMC body lines, and having a clean title with fresh tags is always a plus. For $9,000, considering all the work that's been done and the current market for square body trucks, which has been going crazy lately, this seems like a solid deal. You're getting a well-maintained, rust-free example that's been thoughtfully upgraded while keeping its original character. 9. We're looking at something really special. A 1967 Chevy C10 that's listed for $27,000, and this isn't your average classic pickup. This is what happens when you blend vintage style with modern performance. Let's start with the biggest upgrade. This C10 is rocking a 5.3 LLS swap paired with a 4L60 transmission. That's a modern heart transplant that completely transforms how this truck drives, and the seller claims it gets an impressive 21 mpg on the highway. The swap looks like it was done properly, with a well-thought-out fuel system, including an aftermarket tank under the bed. What makes this truck special is how they've maintained its classic character while upgrading all the right bits. It's wearing its original green patina paint, which gives it that perfect vintage look. But underneath, it's got modern amenities like vintage-style AC and heat, a Dakota digital dash, and CPP lowering springs. They've even added sound deadening material in the cab for a more comfortable ride. The practical upgrades continue with front disc brakes, power steering, and a locking fiberglass tonneau cover. The steel wheels with Chevy hubcaps keep that period-correct look, and they're wrapped in year-old tires. All the glass is good, and those chrome bumpers really set off the patina paint. At $27,000, considering the quality LS swap, modern transmission, and all the thoughtful upgrades, you're getting a lot of truck for the money. This is a classic C10 that you could actually drive daily while still turning heads at car shows. 10. We're looking at a 1971 Ford F100 Custom that's up for grabs at $10,950. And I've got to be straight with you about this one. It's got some character and needs some love. But there's a lot to like here. Let's start with the good stuff. It's powered by Ford's reliable inline-six engine, which the seller says runs fantastic, and it's paired with a 3-speed manual transmission. It's got power steering, which is a nice feature for these old trucks, and comes with both a camper shell and a truck cover. An interesting feature is the dual aftermarket saddle gas tanks, one on each side, giving you some serious range. Now, let's be honest about the issues because transparency is important. The clutch needs some attention. It's rough and needs adjustment. There's also some rust on the window drip edges, which is pretty common for these trucks, but something you'll want to address before it gets worse. The odometer shows around 30,000 miles, but it's actually rolled over once, so we're looking at more like 130,000 miles. This truck comes from the second owner, who bought it from the original owner but hasn't had time to restore it due to growing family obligations. That's actually a good thing because it means the history is known and documented. At $10,950, considering the current market for classic Ford trucks, this could be a decent deal for someone willing to put in some work. The running gear is solid, and these F100S are known for their durability and simple mechanics, making them great projects. 11. We're looking at a real piece of American history, a 1950 Chevrolet 3,100 three-window pickup that's listed for $22,000 in Carlton, Washington. Let me give you the honest scoop on this beautiful old workhorse. This truck is powered by its original 216 straight-six engine paired with that awesome granny gear 4-speed transmission, a combination that's pure vintage Chevy. The green paint with tan interior and white wall tires gives it that perfect period-correct look that these early 50s Chevys are famous for. Now, let's be completely honest about its condition because that's important. The seller's being upfront about some issues. There are chips and rubs in the paint, plus some damage below the gas cap. More importantly, there's an oil leak from the rear main seal. And the engine, while running smoothly and starting easily, is in unrestored condition. What makes this truck special is that it's running all its original gear, from the engine to the brakes. That's getting harder to find on these 73-year-old trucks. It's described as driver quality, meaning it's not a perfect showpiece, but it's nice enough to proudly take to car shows while being actually usable. At $22,000, considering the current market for these iconic advanced design Chevys, especially one that's running and driving with its original drivetrain, you're in the right ballpark. These trucks have been steadily appreciating, and finding one that's both presentable and drivable isn't easy. 12. We're checking out a sweet 1981 Chevy C10 stepside that's listed for $17,000, and this one's got some serious attitude. First off, this is a short box stepside, one of the most desirable configurations for these square bodies. Under the hood, you've got a performance-built 350 V8 that's been detailed to show quality. They went at it with a Q-tip and toothbrush. And it's breathing through a dual side dump exhaust that the seller says puts out a nasty note, just what you want in a muscle truck. The attention to detail here is impressive. They've just dropped $1,200 on recent work, including a carburetor rebuild, new radiator, and a fresh interstate battery. The truck's rolling on classic Craigslist SS mags wrapped in brand new Michelin tires. We're talking $800 worth of rubber with only 25 miles on them. That's a serious investment in quality parts. Nice touches include a wooden bed, always looks killer on these, a tonneau cover, sliding rear window, and a mega stereo setup. The odometer shows 17,705 miles, but yeah, it's definitely rolled over. Pretty standard for these old trucks. What really catches my attention is that the owner has kept a folder full of receipts documenting all the work. That's always a good sign that someone cared about maintaining it properly. 13. We're looking at a seriously upgraded 1972 Chevy El Camino that's listed for $30,000. And this isn't your average car-truck hybrid. This one's been built to perform. Let's start with the heart of this beast. A 350 crate engine pushing out 430 horsepower, paired with a 700 R4 transmission. That's a fantastic combo that gives you both serious power and comfortable highway cruising. The suspension's been beefed up with anti-sway bars and rear air shocks, and they've added bare disc brakes for modern stopping power. The attention to detail on this build is impressive. Inside, you've got Recaro bucket seats freshly done in leather, a new console conversion kit with shifter, and a stylish Lucara steering wheel. The exterior features a new billet grille and a custom vinyl top with V8 emblem stitching. Those Nudnik wheels really set off the blue paint nicely. Recent updates include a new battery from March 2024 and a new vacuum pump. With 71,000 miles showing, this El Camino has plenty of life left, especially with all these quality upgrades. At $30,000, considering the extensive modifications, the desirable crate engine setup, and the current market for well-built classic El Caminos, you're looking at a fair price. This isn't just a cosmetic build. They've invested in performance and handling upgrades that make this a true driver's car. 14. We're looking at a 1981 Chevy K 1500 that's up for grabs at $11,000. And let me give you the straight scoop on this lifted beauty. Under the hood, you've got the 305 V8 paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, a combo that's known for reliability. The seller's honest about the engine. It's had a fresh tune-up but still needs some carburetor work. The good news is that both the transmission and 4x4 system are working perfectly, which is huge for these old trucks. This K1500's got some serious presence with a brand new 4-inch BDS lift kit. That's quality stuff, folks. And fresh 35/12.50/R16 tires on new rims. The body's been repainted in white and features an aftermarket induction hood. The seller emphasizes that the body is very straight, which is getting rare for these square bodies. There are a couple small rust spots, but importantly, the undercarriage is mostly rust-free, a big deal for any truck from this era. Now let's be upfront about the interior. It's currently disassembled. The seller has all the pieces, and they say it could be put back together in a few hours. They were planning to rebuild the dash and replace the seat. The truck also has door triangle window deletes with solid glass doors, which is a nice custom touch. At $11,000, considering the new lift kit, wheels, tires, and the straight body, you're in the ballpark for a square body that needs some finishing touches. These trucks have been climbing in value, especially 4x4 models. 15. We're checking out a stunning 1966 Chevy El Camino that's listed for $24,900, and this one's been built to impress. Under the hood, you've got a 350 V8 paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. That's the combo you want for a proper muscle car experience. The Hurst shifter is a perfect period-correct upgrade that makes rowing through those gears even more enjoyable. They've also added power steering, which makes this beauty much more manageable in daily driving situations. The attention to detail here is impressive. The black paint looks sharp, and the seller emphasizes that the body and panel gaps are on point, something that's crucial for show-quality vehicles. Inside, you'll find new red bucket seats. That color combo is killer. And upgraded aftermarket gauges to keep tabs on the engine. The bed features an upgraded cover, and those rally wheels with white letter tires complete the classic muscle car look perfectly. With 57,000 miles showing, this El Camino appears to have been well preserved or restored to a high standard. The upgraded exhaust system probably gives it that perfect muscle car rumble that these cars are known for. At $24,900, considering the current market for well-built classic El Caminos, especially 66 models with desirable powertrains, you're looking at a fair price. These unique car-truck hybrids have been steadily appreciating, and finding one that's both show-ready and actually drivable isn't easy. 16. We're looking at something really special. A 1971 Dodge D100 that's listed for $14,500. And this isn't your average classic pickup. This is a rare bird that'll definitely turn heads. Let's talk numbers first. This is one of only 19,444 short-wheelbase D100 ES produced in 1971. making it significantly rarer than its Ford and Chevy counterparts. But what really sets this truck apart is what's under the hood. A monster 440 cubic inch V8 that's been upgraded with a Holley carb, Edelbrock Torker 440 intake manifold, and HEI ignition. Those Mopar Performance valve covers and air cleaner add some nice eye candy too. The transmission is Chrysler's legendary A727 automatic. These are practically indestructible and a perfect match for that big 440. The truck's got power steering and power brakes, making it much more manageable around town. Those wide 255/70 R15 tires on painted steel wheels give it a subtle but muscular stance. What really makes this truck special is its originality combined with tasteful upgrades. It even comes with the original dealer invoice and owner's manual. That's rare documentation for a truck this age. And how cool is that working AM/FM with 8-track player? That's some serious period-correct charm. At $14,500, considering its rarity, that potent 440 engine setup and the clean, straight condition, you're looking at a fair price. These D100S are much harder to find than their GM or Ford counterparts, especially in this condition. 17. We're looking at a seriously built 1982 Chevy C10 short bed that's listed for $23,900. And let me tell you, this is no ordinary square body. Under the hood is where this truck really shines. We're talking about a monster 383-stroker pushing over 500 horsepower. And this isn't just some thrown-together build. The engine specs read like a performance builder's wish list. Eagle steel crank, 6 inches, H-beam forged rods, AFR eliminator CNC'd heads, and it's all held together with ARP hardware. The Howard's hydraulic roller cam and Scorpion roller rockers give it that perfect muscle car lope. The transmission is equally impressive. A bowtie overdrive stage 3700 R4 with a FTI 3000 revolutions per minute stall converter. That means this truck can both rip down the street and cruise comfortably on the highway. Out back, there's a stout 12-bolt with a TrueTrack Posey, and the suspension's been rebuilt and lowered with Caltrax. What's really impressive is that this drivetrain only has 3,500 miles on it, so it's barely broken in. The seller emphasizes zero rust, which is huge for these square bodies. They've also added an Alpine sound system for when you're not enjoying the rumble from those Doug ceramic-coated headers. At $23,900, considering the level of performance parts used and the apparent quality of the build, plus the current market for well-built square bodies, this is actually reasonable pricing. The engine build alone would cost a significant chunk of that asking price. 18. We've got a real treat for you. A 1976 GMC Jimmy that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $11,000, and let me tell you, it's worth every penny. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is this thing really in like-new condition? Well, according to the seller, it absolutely is. They've put a lot of love and care into restoring this classic ride, and it shows. The engine has been completely rebuilt, so you know it's running like a dream. And check out that Dakota Digital Instrument Cluster. It's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But the upgrades don't stop there. The seller has also installed a painless wiring system, so you won't have to worry about any electrical gremlins causing trouble down the line. And the interior? Brand spanking new. You'll feel like you're sitting in a time capsule every time you climb behind the wheel. Of course, we can't forget about the exterior. The paint job is fresh and flawless, and the new tires are ready to tackle any terrain you throw at them. And speaking of terrain, this Jimmy is a 4WD beast, so you can take it off-road with confidence. Now, I know the price tag might seem a bit steep, but trust me, this is a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history in such incredible condition. The seller even has a clean title, so you won't have to worry about any legal headaches down the road. 19. We've got a real gem to talk about. A 1965 Dodge D100 pickup truck that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $13,000, and let me tell you, it's worth every penny. First off, let's talk about the condition of this truck. The seller describes it as being in excellent condition. and from what I can see in the photos, I have to agree. The red paint job looks stunning, and the overall appearance of the truck is just immaculate. It's clear that this D100 has been well cared for over the years. Now let's dive into the specs. Under the hood, you'll find a 225/6 engine, which is known for its reliability and durability. The truck also has a manual transmission, which is perfect for those who love to have full control over their driving experience. And with only 61,000 miles on the odometer, this truck has plenty of life left in it. But the real story here is the history of this truck. The seller purchased it from a family in Tucson, where the grandfather had owned it for over 30 years. The sons and grandsons rebuilt the truck for their grandfather, who used it to haul a water tank trailer to his mountain cabin. It's clear that this truck has been a beloved family member for generations, and it's ready to make new memories with its next owner. The seller has also made some recent improvements to the truck, including rebuilding the clutch and tie rods in 2020, and rebuilding the brakes in 2022. This shows that the seller has been proactive in maintaining the truck and ensuring that it's in top condition for its next owner. 20. We've got a real showstopper for you. A 1971 Chevrolet C10 that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $29,900, and let me tell you, it's worth every single penny. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this truck. The seller describes it as being in like new condition, and based on the photos and the extensive list of top-shelf parts and features, I have to agree. This C10 has undergone a frame-off restoration, and the attention to detail is simply stunning. Under the hood, you'll find a new crate engine that's been outfitted with a Holley Sniper FI system, an Edelbrock aluminum intake, block hugger headers, a front runner system, HEI, and a Be-Cool aluminum radiator with twin fans and a custom shroud. This powerhouse is paired with a new TH350 automatic transmission and a rebuilt and powder-coated rear end with 3.08 Posey. In other words, this truck has the power and performance to back up its incredible looks. But the upgrades don't stop there. This C10 also features power steering with a new quick ratio box, power four-wheel disc brakes, vintage Air Gen IV AC, a polished steering column with tilt, a Hotchkiss suspension kit, Bilstein shocks, a new fuel tank and lines, new 1967 exterior trim, new carpet, and a custom leather interior that smells like the most expensive leather shop you've ever entered. And if that wasn't enough, the seller notes that they exclusively used stainless, ARP, and grade 8 bolts throughout the build, which is a testament to the quality of the work performed.